Let's go now with RJ. Says, I'm RJ, a 3D environment artist from New Zealand. I graduated at the end of the last year and have been aiming towards getting my first job in the video game industry. My focus is towards 3D stylized environments and props. I would love to know where my portfolio currently stands, where my focus should be right now, and what the major gaps displayed in my portfolio are from my first impression. Let's take a look. Nice. Well, I mean, first impression is this looks nice. Got a lot of stuff, like a couple of different elements. Fantasy props. Careful with those camera movements. They might be a little bit too fast and doesn't really allow me to appreciate all the stuff. Overview of all props. 20 total props created, 6 Atlas textures. Okay. They're definitely too high poly in this case, my friends, especially for games and especially for this stylized effect. You don't need, for instance, the ham, right? Like that ham doesn't need as many of those divisions. The pumpkin doesn't need as many of those divisions. Even the corn right there, is that a corn? That's another, it's another bread. Like you don't need as much division. So you can definitely optimize this way more for a game effect. I like the textures. Like you have some interesting materials and some interesting textures. It looks like you're going for this hand painted style effect, which is fine, but we need to simplify the colors a bit more. So let me show you here. One of the common mistakes that we do when doing like this kind of like style is we don't like to have hard edges, right? Hard edges feel a little bit unnatural, but they're so important. So right now, for instance, if we take a look at the wooden board, you're gonna notice that this wooden board has very soft gradients here in the corners. Commit to those, like really commit to those. And if you're gonna be adding this like damage, really add it. Don't be afraid of stopping that and having a little bit of a hard edge in certain areas. As we've mentioned before, you don't want to have like metal edge where everywhere. So this little damage is only going to be on certain parts of the element. We can clean up some of the other areas, right? To really have a little bit more variation. But don't add color just for the sake of adding color. Keep it simple. Same for this one, for instance, here on the clever, right? If I use this hard edge to really separate this blue color from the edge, I'm gonna be able to really describe that is a sharp edge. And then we can go, for instance, a little bit higher. And again, without worrying about blending this, I'm just going to add this corner, this border, to really indicate that that's very sharp. See how that changed the whole like vibe right there? Of course, we can play with our silhouettes to clean this up. A little bit of a contact shadow right there. And there we go. So that right there, see how that goes from a very sort of like muddy image and a very sort of like uninteresting effect to something that has a little bit more contrast to it. That's what we want to do, especially with this kind of like elements. Okay, we want to be able to incorporate that and really play with the values and with the volumes. Careful with the metal edge. Where look at this ham right here. Every single like square on the ham has that effect. You don't want that. It just makes things look too procedural, I would say. Take a look at this other one. Okay. This one. Okay. I'm mostly interested in seeing the model. Yeah, there we go. So these models look a lot nicer. I mean, a lot of like Fortnite. This is a nice environment. I like it. Really whimsical. Not very unique. Not very original, right? Like we've seen this stuff before, but it's a lot better. I love the locks that you did right there. What's this? Oh, yeah, this looks nice. Nice. Yeah, I mean, you're in a good position, man. I think I love this sunset version of the breakdown over here, right? Yeah, I love this. You did a really good job on this. Hits, that's fine. This one's not great, I'm gonna be honest. Like that little ship right there looks a little bit weird. She looks like she's seen some shit. So yeah, it's a fun ship though. It's just too dense, right? Like the topology is not where it's supposed to be, and it's not like super optimized, but it's okay. Okay, nice. Yeah, all of this is great. Careful with the rocks. We've already talked about them. We don't want to make them look like that. Also careful with the clouds. We need to give them a little bit more volume. Yeah, this is great, man. Like, I mean, the fact that you're doing all of this like deconstruction is amazing. The only thing that I might recommend to you, RJ, is maybe, again, in terms of modeling, a lot of the models that I'm seeing are relatively simple. So you might want to try your hand at doing something a little bit more complex. For instance, there's this project that I wanted to do of a totem, right? Like totems are very fun and they can be very complex, right? So if you model, like if I tell you to model a totem, most people are going to go for something like this. Again, simple. That's a very simple thing. Everyone can do something like that. But if I tell you, no, try doing something like this, for instance, that's more complex, right? Like in terms of shapes, in terms of textures, in terms of like a lot of different elements, this is going to be a lot more interesting for your portfolio than just doing something like this. Like how many people do we know that you tell them to do a project and they're going to pick this? This is a project that's good for practice. It's good to learn. Like maybe you want to learn how to sculpt wood or whatever. Yeah, sure, do this. But if you want to do it for your portfolio, you definitely want to go and push for something that's a lot more interesting, a lot more complex. And that's where really picking a good project is going to be very important, okay? So my advice to you, RJ, would be that try to pick some bigger projects, something that's a little bit more complex, because all of these models, modeling-wise, super simple to do. Everyone can do any of the models that I'm seeing right here. Texturing, you're doing a great job. Texturing, it's very clean. I love the sort of like the effect that you're going for, very artistic. I love that. But in terms of modeling, I'm not really seeing anything that's like complex and impressive, let's say.